padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sacha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Pariyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Tam Sacha Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Guru Abhishta Sapurakam Guru Ganayarashisha Sambhushitam Chinta Chinta Samastaveda Nipunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Vartanam Bhaktyanavitam Sundaram Vande Vishra Guruncha Divya Bhagavad Premno Hibij Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandra Vadanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandranandapuram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Budam Shri Siddhantanidhim Subhaktilasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Shubhadam Madeka Sharanam Nasisaram Śrīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tidito Gauriya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Gaura Sankirtanaye Mayavadati Mingilo Daragatan Udritta Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdika Hansukham Pradata Prabhum Tam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishauraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gaurangra Padma Vrangaya Radha Bhavana Sevane Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Sarupakam Bhakti Sastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudhanadim Gaura Vrajashita Sheshaira Vaishnaveira Vanda Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdham Buddha Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpataru Hrscha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Vancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Advase Namah Dandavat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas, devotees and servitors of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math worldwide, serving the divine mission of Param Guru Mahārāj and Gurudev, and everyone else also. Our namaskar, our sincere namaskar and welcome to our online Sangha Friday evening. We are broadcasting on the orders and request of Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Mahārāj, our dear guardian, here in Sokalpuri, at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru Gaurang, Gandharvika Giridhariju, trying to be of some service to the servitors. So I have our guests and divine panelists. Let me bring them on. Dandavat Pranam Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu, Dandavat to all.
Hare Krishna. And Namaskar Sangeeta ji.
Namaskar.
We also have Rupanuga Prabhu with us. So, welcome, Dandavat. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
So, we are reading from the Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful, Krishna Anusandhan, and we will continue our search for Sri Krishna. From where we left off, we're going to pick up last session, and we were in the middle of going through service of the holy name. If anyone wants to care to follow us, we are on page 151 of this edition of the book. Hold on, Arun Prabhu. Yes. So Arun Prabhu is holding up the soft paperback. And that is the one that we are following. And page 151. The section that we are at, we're going to begin, is Gaudiya Math, War Against Maya. So if you permit, then I can begin?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. This is Param Guru Mahārāj. So the preaching mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Gaudiya Math, has declared totalitarian war against Maya illusion, and even all other existing conceptions of religion. And our authority is Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Divine love is the supreme most goal of every soul. Beauty and love is the summum bonum, our highest attainment. That is the ultimate controlling principle and not power. And beauty and love are found in their highest position is in Krishna, in Vrindavan. The ultimate conception of the absolute truth is that of reality, the beautiful, and divine love. At the same time, the difference between lust and love should be clearly realized. That should not be misconceived. The acme of dedication is demonstrated in the love of the inhabitants of Braja. So Param Guru Mahārāj, I just want to pause here because that totalitarian war that is referred to here, just want to, it brings to my mind the mantra that Param Guru Mahārāj wrote for Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Nikhil bhuvan maya chinna vichinna karatri vibuddha bahul mrigya mukti mohanta datri shitalita vidhi raga radya radesha dhani vilasatu hridi nityam bhakti siddhantavani. Vilasatu hridi nityam bhakti siddhantavani. And it's such a beautiful composition. Param Guru Mahārāj himself actually said that if Saraswati Thakur could be captured, his mood, what he's doing, what he's giving, this verse has done it. So when he says Nikhil bhuvan maya chinna vichinna karatri, that is the totalitarian war. From that has been derived the totalitarian war. But if you really look closely, we say war, but it's in all sweetness and in surrender. Why? Because what is being put forth as the conception, as Susiddhant, is divine love. So it is that kind of a war. It is not war with nuclear weapons and whatnot.
Or with swords or,
no, yeah.
or guns. No.
No. So this is different. Totalitarian war, but to establish what? The supremacy of divine love. So I just wanted to reiterate that so that we understand, although we already know this, but we understand one more time that if someone really wants to fight, take up a sword or a gun or I don't know, 50 caliber or a cannon and try to fight with Maya Devi, it's not possible. Devi hayesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamaiva ye prapadyante mayamaitam tarantite. See, it's not possible for living entities. I'm a living entity, and it's not possible for me to fight alone, just by myself with Maya Devi. Durga, keeper of the fortress. Nav Durga. It's not possible to fight. Devi. Why? Because her nature is Devi. She's divine. Devi Hayesha Gunamayi. And she possesses the three gunas. She's of the three gunas. Sato Rajastama. Mama Maya. Krishna says, my. When he says a mama, means this is my energy. We may call it external, internal, or it's all theoretical at this point. External, internal, what? Who knows the difference? Energy is energy. It's the Lord's energy. He has declared it. So it's not possible for us to take up weapons and fight with Maya. So Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Duratya means insurmountable. That has been given as the meaning. Insurmountable. Mamaya Vya Prapadyante. The only way to without fighting, to get around Maya Devi is to surrender to the Lord. Mamaya Vya Prapadyante Maya Maitam Tarantite. Then she will be very happy to escort you to the other side. Dandat Pranam, Namaskar Anilji. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Very happy to see you.
Prabhuji, I'd like to maybe just point out, Param Guru Mahārāj is reminding us, because we are all right now living in the materialistic world, and particularly, in America, where people don't consciously differentiate the meaning of love, pure love, compared to how contrastful it is from lust.
In Devanagari, there are so many, you can say, for love, the sneh, priti, prem. There are so many different categories, and they mean different. But when we translate, then of course we have to honor the language that we are translating, and since English is universal right now, so we take that, no problem. We are using it for the service of the Lord. Then I shall try and speak the best possible. Why not? Okay. So, back to Param Guru Mahārāj. So preaching, Sankirtan, and not counting beads, japa, is the real service of Krishna. But because we have taken a vow, and it is ordered by Mahaprabhu and our Gurudev, we must chant the holy name while counting beads. It is our duty. Our Guru Mahārāj told us the japa beads must not fast. So, if we engage ourselves in preaching work, there should be no doubt that we are really obeying the order of Mahaprabhu. Although he has advised us to chant 100,000 names or 64 rounds daily, that is a provincial saying. What is really all important is the spirit of service. We are not told that the gopis always count the name on tulsi beads, yet they possess the highest position in the service of Krishna and Vrindavan. Just a pause here. We have to understand this in proper context and light, because these are finer points, intricacies of service to the holy name. Param Guru Mahārāj is trying to give us. He's trying to give us the spirit. What is the spirit of service? It's not to simply count the beads. But at the same time, he is also saying that just by saying, oh, anyone that we see or that is actually doing that must be counting beads, that is also wrong. Because we have taken up this vow that we will chant. So we will chant. We should. With whatever realization we have, we should chant. Not to be neglected. But number is not the all-in-all deciding factor. Like, oh, since you did 40 rounds and I did 2, you're in some way, just because of the number of rounds, are in any way proving yourself to be better than someone else. That is not okay. So we should also not judge. It is for us. It's an individual thing. And then that's how we are supposed to proceed. Like how many, what service are we doing? All of these things have to be taken into account, not just simply the number and just increasing the number. So that's why he's giving us all of this. Next section reads, Vrindavan Express Train. So Krishna Naam will help us greatly to go towards Vrindavan. Its importance is there. Like an express train, the holy name of Krishna carries us to the goal without stopping at any other station. If we are chanting the name without any formal petition, without asking, give me this, give me that, it acts like a special train that will go to Vrindavan non-stop. There the impurities of karma and jnana are absent. The devotees of Vrindavan simply think, I want Krishna, I do not know what is good or bad, I simply want Krishna. Student, how many rounds did your Guru Mahārāj ask his initiated disciples to chant each day? Did he prescribe any set number? Śrīla Śrīdhar Mahārāj. His general recommendation was to chant 25,000 names, 16 rounds daily, or at least 4 rounds minimum. When someone had no work, they could chant 100,000 names or 64 rounds. Student, would Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur give Harinam initiation to someone who could only chant 4 rounds daily? Okay. The next section reads, quality, not quantity. Śrīla Śrīdhar Mahārāj. There was no such consideration. Formally, one had to do some counting, but there was no rigid limitation. What he wanted from us was intense engagement in the service of the Lord under the guidance of a Vaishnava, because the all-important point is service. Our attainment of the goal is not ensured simply by increasing the number of times we repeat the name. Only by increasing the quality will we reach success. There are so many sayings in the scriptures to encourage our realization of the holy name in different ways. But Śrīla Rupa Goswāmī has given us a central thought. He quotes the Padma Purana. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahim indriya. Our senses, physical or mental, are ineligible to come in touch with the transcendental. The name is non-material, aprakrita. without mundane limitation, Vaikuntha. It belongs to another plane. So nothing about Krishna, his name, his form, qualities, or pastimes can be touched by our physical or mental senses. But when we have a serving attitude, he comes down to us of his own accord. Only then can our tongue really pronounce the name of Krishna. Otherwise, only the physical sound of the letters of the name can be produced. Our tongue, our hands, physical sound, all these mundane things cannot come in touch with Krishna. Some intervening medium is necessary to connect this body with the supramundane. Okay, one more time. Our tongue, our hands, physical sound, all these mundane things cannot come in touch with Krishna. Some intervening medium is necessary to connect this body with the supramundane. And that connection is our earnest desire to serve Krishna, to satisfy him. A bulb won't light if there is no electricity. Only when the electrical current is there will the bulb be illuminated. So, the name may appear on the tongue and in the ear, in the mind, or in writing. But we must have the connection from Vaikuntha to this mundane world. And that connection is devotional service, a functional serving attitude. That alone can connect the physical realm with Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. Anilji, did you like what you heard? Did that make any sense?
Yes, sir, perfectly. Because I think this has been told a number of times. But even if you are chanting the name or thinking, or your thoughts are even in mind chanting the name, it is His mercy which is coming to you, right? It's not that you something you are thinking that way. So yeah, that's what I'm getting.
So very nice what you said. So by our attitude, by our serving and attitude with surrender, we hope to attract the most attractive.
So earnestness is the key. Having a very earnest desire to serve. Yeah.
Then he is attracted. Because we want to serve. And we want to serve through the proper channel. We want to serve Srila Gurudev. And with what degree of intensity and what degree of surrender, based on that is how he reciprocates, is what we're being told here. Because without that connection, without that service connection, then our chanting, and we may be doing thousands upon thousands of names, but really, So in the next section, Param Guru Mahārāj is talking about the section reads, firing blank mantras. Back to Param Guru Mahārāj. Krishna will appear of his own accord. He will descend upon your tongue, and then your tongue will be able to chant the name of Krishna. A gun that has no bullet but only a blank may make some sound, but no bullet is actually fired. Similarly, chanting the name of Krishna without an attitude of service produces sound, but that is only tongue deep. It is like firing a gun with blanks instead of bullets. Our chanting of the holy name of Krishna must be surcharged with a serving temperament, the tendency to satisfy Krishna. Otherwise, the sound we produce is bogus. It is only an imitation or a permutation. The holy name cannot be experienced by our senses. It is supramental and transcendental. An ordinary sound of this mundane world cannot be the name of Krishna. Our ear cannot even hear the name if that mediator, the serving attitude, is not there. The earnestness to satisfy Krishna's will must mediate between Krishna and the ear through the mind. Then only will Krishna's name enter our ear and reveal to us his form, qualities, and pastimes. The holy name is not physical, it is a prakrita, transcendental, supramundane. Only through our service attitude will it come down to this mundane world. Our Guru Mahārāj laid the highest stress on developing a serving attitude. Otherwise, it is all bogus, all imitation. And people will say, oh, there is no Krishna there. These men are hypocrites. They are only dancing and making noise. They are not surcharged with a serving spirit. Only through service can we directly come in contact with Krishna. The real point is to practice how to attain the spirit of service. Vaishnav Seva. The Vaishnava is doing service, and we must imbibe from him the methods of attaining this serving attitude. Under the order of a devotee, we must practice to give ourselves. Self-abnegation and self-dedication are necessary. And that positive thing we will receive from a devotee. If children are given pen and paper in the beginning, it will not be fruitful. So a stone is given, and on the earth they practice writing. So in the beginning, we must try to practice how we can develop a serving attitude, dedicating habit. It is our innate wealth, and that is our solace. If we try to develop a serving attitude, the pure devotee will help us. It is said that if one is miserly, he should at least give some trash in charity to anyone. One says to a miser, at least give some ash to others and let your hand practice giving. Devanagari said, "Rakh de do."
Yeah.
If nothing else, then वो जो घर में अंगीठी जलती है, burnt coal, gather some of that and give so that your hand can feel what it is to give. And why this is emphasized is because in this environment, we are so exploitative that it has become second nature to us. A completely foreign thing has become second nature to us. Instead of that giving nature, we have become exploiters. Completely opposite. Such is the degree of misconception and the intensity of misconception. So to get out of it, these are the things that we must do. Back to Param Guru Mahārāj. So the serving spirit is a high thing. We must practice to give ourselves in the service of Krishna. So the 9 processes of Bhakti, what are they? Atma Nivedan is the last one. Atma Nivedan means to give oneself. But if you look at the 6 limbs of Saranagati, Anukulasya Sankalpa Pratikulya Vivarjanam Rakṣhasya iti Vishvaso Goptritya Varnam Tatha Atma Nikshep Karpanye Shadvida Saranagati. But there it doesn't say Atma Nivedan, it says Atma Nikshep. So if you study finally, you will find that the difference between Atma Nivedan and Atma Nikshep is the degree of intensity. So primary class we are told Atma Nivedan, but then when you graduate it's Atma Nikshep. There is a difference, and there is a reason why. In one place is this, in the other place is that. Okay. We must not be afraid, back to Param Guru Mahārāj, we must not be afraid that we are not attaining the highest form of service in Naam Bhajan, the worship of the holy name. We should not think, why have I been asked to sweep the temple? Why have I been asked to sweep the temple? Any ordinary man can do this. We must not be afraid of that. It is necessary for us to acquire a service attitude. Self-giving, selflessness, and self-forgetfulness are required. Again, just a pause here. Param Guru Mahārāj is giving distinct levels. So first is self-giving, which is general. Then second level is selflessness, more developed. And then finally, self-forgetfulness. See how the intensity is developing gradually. Okay, back to Param Guru Mahārāj. It is said that Socrates, I was going to say Sukrat, anyways. Socrates is an example of self-forgetfulness, and Jesus Christ, Yeshua, is an example of self-sacrifice. And for what purpose? For the cause of the Supreme. And for that, we must have a positive connection with a devotee. Under his order, we will connect with the plane of service. Our energy may go to the transcendental plane only by his grace or mediation. So our Guru Mahārāj, Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, laid 90% stress on developing a service attitude for preaching, and that should be our aim, whatever our position may be. Jai Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Any reflections, comments, Arun Prabhu?
Prabhuji, what can I say? Just hearing the instructions of Param Guru Maharajas, it forces me to just meditate on so beautiful, deep things that are being said. And those are reachable conceptions to my mind based on the limited experience I have in the life. We can all relate to it, and we can all relate to it innately without needing an external proof. Our Atma is able to certify, yes, this is truth. Right? So, yet it also allows me to contrast how perverted the thought process has become in the materialistic world. And like there is a Moore's law in semiconductors, which is to say every 18 months the computing power will go up and the cost of the computing power will go half. So similar to Moore's law, the amount of wretchedness in this world, there's no end to it. I mean, every 2 years, if I reflect back, it just keeps going bad and from bad to worse and worse to even worse. So for us to realize what is really the pure feelings that we have experienced sometimes in our life, the pure feeling of selflessness that Mother had for us when we were young and helpless, it just gives a glimpse of the same type of selflessness that we need to have for the real connection that we have in our existence, and that is with Krishna, the Godhead, Bhagwan.
Jai.
That is only Shashwat. That's the only Shashwat, non-illusory, the true reality. That's the true relationship. And we need to have the same amount of selflessness as Mother had on us when we were babies, or at least till the time I remember. Now, when I was a few years, I could clearly see that in my mother.
Anilji, do you remember how Ramcharitmanas, the famous Ramcharitmanas, begins by Lord Shiva saying to his consort Uma Devi, Uma कहूँ मैं अनुभव अपना, सत हरि भजन जगत सब सपना. Huh? So although he said Jagat Sab Sapna, sometimes it's nightmarish to us, not just a simple dream. Sometimes it's like a nightmare. But that is what he summarized. He says, "This is my experience, O Uma. This is my experience." Lord Shiva says himself that there is only one thing that is true. Shashwat, Hari Bhajan, holy names of the Lord. Sat Hari Bhajan, Jagat Sab Sapna. Everything else is transient. So we must realize our wealth, what we have been given. We have been given the connection, and by the mercy of our Gurudev, we have it. We may not realize it, that's okay. But we have that connection from that highest plane, from the Lord Himself. And we have been given these beautiful transcendental instructions. For example, that we are always to smile. Try to be, Srila Govinda Mahārāj has said that just always, if you can do nothing, just smile. But trust us to even make such a beautiful instruction just gross and perfunctory. Just we will bring it down and we will do it in such a way that it will have no feeling. That you can trust us with, trust me with. So yeah, I'll smile in such a way that people will like, well, please, you're better scowling or with a sad face. So we can't even smile properly. So, pardon my offenses. By nature, I'm offensive, so I don't know. You keep pardoning, and I keep getting away with it. But let me gather the team, and I'll be right back. And please continue.
Yeah. So Anilji, I was at the temple this week and the last week also, and Śrīla Janardhan Mahārāj mentioned that the temple is now open. So there are no mask restrictions as long as people are vaccinated, and so it's back to normal, and we can serve the deities, serve the Vaishnavas, and honor the prasadam there. So what used to be a restriction a year ago, fortunately, with Lord's mercy, we can more intimately intermingle and serve, meet other Vaishnavas and serve them. So I was just thinking about the Moore's law and the inverse Moore's law. The amount of depravity that I keep seeing every year, it does not marginally increase by 5%, 10%. It's horrible. It's like doubling every year. And then I feel sad for all the children who are growing up in this environment, not knowing what we have seen, the kind of purity, cleanliness of thought, or santusht hona, being satisfied with what we have. Santosh is not taught in our schools here in the West. How to be satisfied with what we have. What we are taught instead is how to be greedy and even more greedy and more exploitative. Get an edge at the expense of others. Laugh at the miseries of others. Very, very different. So I think we need to be de-emphasizing the self and normalizing it to say there is a self, but we need to do some introspection and not feed the fire by more gasoline, thinking that the fire will eventually get exhausted. No, the fire just keeps increasing exponentially every year.
Okay, the team is here. All right.
Bhaj Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Bhaj Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hariharaya Namah Krishnaya Yadavaya Namaha.
Hariharaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshuvaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Ichhai Gosai Kore Charana Vandan.
Ichhai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Jaha hoite Vignanasha Vishta Puran.
Jaha hote Vignanasha Vishta Purana.
Ichhai Gosai Jar Moe Taradas.
Ichhai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas.
Tan Sabara Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tasabara Padarenu Mora Panchagas.
Tanera Charana Se Bhakta Sanevas.
Andhra Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebas.
Janame Morai Abhilash.
Janame Mora He Abhilash.
Ichhai Gosai Jabe Braja Koilabas.
Ichhai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash.
Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Hari Nam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das.
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hariharaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
So our Jai Dhani expert is not here today, so
Yes.
we are missing Anika. But anyway, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajākacārya Varya Stotra Shata Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
जय भगवान श्रीला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय.
Jai.
जय विश्ववरेण्य श्रीला एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
Jai.
सपार्षद श्रीमान महाप्रभु की जय.
Jai.
रूपनुग गुरुवर्ग की जय.
Jai.
जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय.
Jai.
नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. और
श्रीला भक्ति पावन जनार्दन महाराज की जय, श्री आचार्य महाराज की जय, जय राम प्रभु की जय, आभा दीदी की जय, रवानिका दीदी की जय, नव प्रभु की जय, all the devotees online and offline सब की जय.
जय. डिवाइन पैनलिस्ट श्रीपाद अरुण कृष्ण प्रभु की जय. डिवाइन गेस्ट अनिल जी की जय. श्रीपाद रूपानुग प्रभु की जय. संगीता जी की जय. नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल.
हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल.